Hey guys, it's Bettina Gal, and we are back over in Planet Zoo, and we are going to get done with the viewing area for these Binturongs today. And yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. So here, I'm just changing it to have the square corners, so it's a little bit easier to work with, I think. We don't have to try to get a curb like around here, or I guess I would say a custom curb around here. Because here I'm going to try to hide the curbs. And I just realized I didn't even check to see like how much the people sink into this, but we get it pretty good in the end, I think. And I probably could have made it go out a little bit more, but I think it's good. So I went ahead and left spots open here in the middle. And this is where I'm going to put a little bit of a garden in the middle. I think that looks pretty cool because I add some trees and shrubbery and stuff. And it just adds a little bit of something into this little middle area. Because obviously you don't want like all of this area to be where guests can go because it would be a little bit crowded, I think. So went ahead and went with this wall, little stone wall, I think it is. And I think it turned out pretty cool in the end. I couldn't figure out how to do these corners, but you'll see eventually. I do change it. It's just because I wasn't putting it that one side in close enough. Because with most of the walls, you have like a really small I guess gap that you can either put it on the outside of the grid or the inside of the grid, and I was putting it on the outside, so it wasn't connecting quite like I wanted it to. But I went ahead and started doing the outside here, and I just cut to the end because you guys have seen me place walls, so you know how to do it. But here I went ahead. This path looked a little weird, so I wanted to try to make it look a little bit better by just taking it out and doing some terrain work there. So I think I do it right here. Yeah. So I'm just gonna smooth it out, and actually, I end up even taking it down a little bit. I really wish there was a way you could hide this white border of the habitat barrier because it is kind of distracting when I'm trying to do this work and later on when I put the nature around the habitat, the outside of the habitat, it gets in the way. I don't like it. But mainly I do a lot of cutting, just showing you guys the start of things and then cut to the end just because it is very distracting to look at that white border for this work. But here I go ahead and just readjust the path so it looks better because I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna hide that, um, those little edges that you can still see. And so I was like, you know what? I'll just move the path. It's easier than trying to move all of the wall. So went ahead and added just a little bit of a threshold here to kind of cover up the seam. And I think I got it in the end. It took a bit. And I'm using this Southeast Asia lamppost, which I realized later on that it's just a lamppost. There's no light in there. So I do later add some light. And then I have to go through and delete the ones I've placed and add them back. But it's fine. We get it. And I think it works out pretty good. It's kind of hard to get because the bottom of the lamppost sticks out if you're not careful. Here's where I was trying to get those corners to line up, and I just could not do it. So I went ahead and deleted that and tried to add it again. And that's where I figured out, oh, it's just not the right side. So it works out because I end up just taking off there's an extra 2 strips of mulch here. Take those out. And then since all of this is covered in mulch, I go ahead and just add more of the flooring there. So it works out because you can't see it since the mulch is there. So I don't know why I didn't think of that before, but I didn't. And then I went ahead and just made a few adjustments, and I realized this edge was a little bit too low. You can see the curb. So I also changed these three. Oh, it wasn't the curb, it was this outside. You could just see it a little bit. So it does look a little bit off if you look too closely, but just don't look that close. It'll be fine. So here I add these little round light strips, I guess you would say. Um, the effect in the end isn't exactly what I was hoping for, but I don't know what else would work in here. So I do this trick a lot where you have to select something and delete it to get to what you're wanting to select and then just undo. So I did leave that in so I could show you guys how to do that if you didn't know. But yeah, I mess around a lot with the placement of those. And now I'm just like, okay, I'll just work on something else for a bit. So I wanted a little bit of an entryway here, and this didn't quite work out the way I was hoping. But I did want to keep it in just to show you guys the process I went through. And there was some like jumping around because I would, notice something and go back to it. I did notice this was a little bit off, so I split these from the grid, or not from the grid, from the group, and just moved them around so it would line up a little bit more. And as you can see here, I'm starting on the little, I guess, was it garden area that you would call it? I don't know. I thought about putting two of these cherry blossom trees in, but I don't know, it's a little bit too small of a space for two, I think. I mean, you guys know me. I'll put pink in no matter what, but it just seems like a little bit too small of a space. So I go ahead and try to get some stuff from the habitat already, and I go ahead and look at the biome and the terrain for these guys again, just to filter out that for the nature. I should know this by now. I've had to look at these, I don't know how many times, but I still look at the animal. I don't know. It may just be habit at this point, but oh well. So go ahead and put these little flower bed things here. And then I just searched for some other greenery to put in. I wanted to put some more color in here. So I don't know. We have a lot of green. I don't know if I like it too much, but it may be too green. But I liked this tree here, and there was somebody I was watching that gave me a cool tip in the video that if you just do Control X and kind of move it around so it looks more grouped, it looks, I don't know, more real life trees if you do that, because trees are more full usually than what you can get in the game, just one tree at a time. And I thought this was cool, this little wagon thing. But I went ahead and I did move it to the outside of the habitat. But for now, I was trying to add some little clutter around just to make it look more interesting. And I did want to stick with the Southeast Asia theme for a couple of reasons. It kind of helps to have that theme to go off of, so you're not like, oh gosh, what do I do now? Because I'm like that anyways, so I really wanted to kind of narrow it down a little bit. So I add these to, I was thinking of making a bit of a custom billboard area here. And I think it turns out pretty good. I was just going through and trying to, I had those actually on the group, so I didn't want that. But we go ahead. I think I put a door in the back, I think is what it is. And it turns out pretty good in the end, I think. It it seems to be missing a little something. I don't know what. This is a huge door, but I figured for where it is, it doesn't matter too much. And I'm trying to figure out where exactly it is in the order of things, because I want the board to be like just on the inside of it. So I do a little bit of adjusting after we get some power to this one, because obviously, as you can see, it's not on right now. So I just moved the solar panel we have. I just move it over to the right a little bit, and it works out in the end. So not too bad. And I wanted to change some of the color on this. Wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to change it to, but I went with red. And I left everything else pretty much the way it was. So, like I said, I wanted this right inside, so I went ahead and moved it back a little bit more. And that's what we end up with. So that's pretty cool. I do go ahead and group that because I want to move it to the other side as well. And I don't know if I actually show that, but you'll see it later. But you can see it there on the right. And then this, I wanted to do a little statue over here, but this is, I think, the only Binturong thing they came out with as far as statues, which I don't know if I like it too much. It seems a bit odd. I don't know. And this, this was mainly just because I thought it looked cool. I know the Binturongs aren't going to use it for a bed. It's too small, but I just thought it looked so cool. And I think in a real life zoo, I think they would probably use this. I could be wrong, but I think they would be able to. And obviously, I wanted it to be held up by something other than just what it is now. So I'll go ahead and put some bedding in, which is like just the right size. It's almost too big. But I also go ahead and put some lighting in. I just make it red light because red light doesn't bother the animals and you can see inside. And I wasn't sure whether to put it here or bury it further into the ceiling. So I don't know. I went ahead and changed the color, and I also move it up and I think eventually back a little bit, just so you can see, like, if the animals were actually in there, you could see them. And I think it's pretty good. Like you see, I did move it into the ceiling a bit more because you can still see the light from it. So I think it works. And here's where I put a little bit more structure to hold up this house, I guess you would call it. But I really just did like I guess you would call it an A-frame for the underneath. It's not exactly the right proportion, but I am not too worried about it. So in the end, it works out, right? So I still can't get the Binturongs to use this. Like, I still don't see them climbing on this at all. But here I put a bit of nature around the bottom of this. And I just think the bottom of the habitat is really missing some nature. So I add some. I don't show a lot of this because there's so much stuff in the way that it's hard to put it on video. It's just annoying. You just have to go through all kinds of trees and stuff. But I add some of this, and I don't know if it was the carpet moss. Is that what it's called? I'm not sure. But I add some of this around, just kind of sink it into the rocks. Just add a little bit more, and I think it turns out pretty good. And here I'm working on a shade structure for the viewing area. And I tried the mud pillar thing where you're supposed to be able to put the mud pillar in the middle and use that as like an axis to turn things in a circular pattern. I wasn't able to get it to work, but I just went ahead and selected these and added them to a group, and then just did Control X and moved things around until I got them looking the way I wanted it to. But at first I tried to make it somewhat of a pattern, but then I was like, you know what? Just turn things around and eventually you'll get there. So it's not a symmetrical thing, but I think that adds to the customization look. So I like it. I think it turned out pretty good. And what I go ahead and do is just select the bottom pieces because I didn't need this middle piece here. So I selected that, and then we'll just go ahead and move those where we want them over here. I did forget the crossfighting stuff, so there is some crossfighting going on. And I didn't know about this column here because it seems a little too thick. But I do add something on the top to kind of decorate the top middle piece there. And what I'm thinking is I should have made these where they were angled a bit. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about these. And here I'm trying to find a light for it. I end up with this, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I like it. I don't know. We'll see. Here it's kind of buried in, which works out pretty good. But then we changed the piece, and it's not buried anymore. So I think it looks good, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And yeah, so we go ahead and switch out this middle column here for something a lot thinner, and I think it's better. I kind of think there should be some kind of a uh maybe like a cement thing on the bottom just to make it look like it's actually anchored into the ground. I don't know. And then I mess with this quite a bit because I'm like, at first I was going to try to make it straight, but then I was like, well, I don't know, an angle looks pretty cool. So let me know what you guys think. Should I do the angled look or the straight across look? Let me know what you guys think, because I can always change it, obviously, but I think the angled one adds a little bit more to the look of it. I don't know, but we go ahead and add some benches around here, and I realize the sidewalk ends here, so I can't put it any further over. I could add some more sidewalk, but I don't know. And here, I wanted to add something to hold up this little statue here. So I add these rocks. I think it turns out pretty good in the end. But I went ahead and added a couple of these. And then I realized that I should probably have this on the other side as well, so people can see it from the other side. So I went ahead. I had to do some moving around I wanted to angle this a little bit, and then so I added some more rock to come over to this side and angle, angle in, I guess you would say. And I wanted some kind of a light over here, so I added this. I don't know if it necessarily goes with everything, but I added this and tried to make it look like it was hanging from the tree here. And I don't know if it really lets off that much light though. You can see it when I do some of the shots in the end. But yeah, so I add that, and I think that looks pretty good because we needed something, for the Binturong in there. But I went ahead and looked for stuff to add on the outside. I again went to the to the East Asia stuff, but I added this big like lantern stand here. Obviously, there's no light in it, but I think it looks pretty cool. So I wanted to do, like I said earlier, I wanted to do something with this entrance here. So I was looking for a sign to put in here, and I realized, you know what? I should just use a little thing that goes across and just use the letters in the game. So that's what I went ahead and did, and I think it turned out good. But I never can find the alphabet letters. I think I've finally figured it out. It's just under art shapes. So I wanted to kind of randomize this. So a lot of times what I'll do is just place one and then just do Control X and place all the other ones. But this, I kind of wanted to make them separate ones so I could move them up or, tilt them or whatever I wanted to do. And as you can see, I was way off on my sizing on these. The letters are so big in this game. And I know they came out with smaller ones in the last update, but it still seems way too big. I don't know. So I went ahead and added these lights, although I don't know if I necessarily like the way they look because they're the only two lights that are this style. The other ones are those lantern ones down there. So I don't know if I necessarily like it, but I'll go with it for now. We'll do it. So here I go ahead and start placing some plants around the outside. And again, this white outline is just, it's annoying. I don't know how. I wish there was a way to turn it off. I don't know if there is, and I just don't know it, but it would really help. So here I'm just trying to place some more kind of ivy looking things around the walls just to add a little something, and go back to the outside. And yeah, it looks pretty good. I like the way it turned out. And I put these ivies here thinking it would add a little bit. I think it looks pretty neat. So, of course, I could add plants all day. So here we go, adding more plants and more leaves along the walls. But I think it adds a lot to the look of the habitat. And then we add some benches and trash cans over here. And I go ahead and add the shade structures over here as well. And it looks pretty good. As you can see, I'm also changing the terrain up a little bit. I just add soil at first, and then I'll go ahead and make the intensity a lot less and go over it with some short grass just to make it kind of blend in a little bit. And here I'm adding some of the shade structure, and I think it looks good. I mean, the shade structure isn't going to get all of these benches. I could move them around, but let me know what you guys think about it. And I do realize they're way too short, so I go ahead and make them a little bit higher so they look like, people aren't going to hit their heads on these things. But yeah, let's get back to the real time right now. Okay, guys, so I think that will be all that we're going to do today. I think we're pretty much done with the habitat. I'm happy with it. There may be some minor changes here and there, but I'm liking it. If you go in, I kind of wish we had some lighting like what we've got down here. Let me know if there's another option for these, because they're kind of a weird effect. I'm not sure if I necessarily like the way that it kind of flames like that, or at least looks like flames anyways. But yeah, so I think this looks pretty awesome. And I'm kind of thinking we need something down here as far as like a brace or something for that. But I really like these little information board stands. I think they're really good. I like them. And let me know what you guys think about this habitat and how it looks. I know it's been quite a few parts to this habitat, but I did want to, do everything, and I just didn't do it fast enough to, do one episode, because let me know what you guys think, because I don't really want to do things super fast. I don't like the speed build, the way it looks when it's sped up. I think it's a little too much. Oh, these are still here. I did not know that. Let's go ahead and delete these. But I think their climbing is fixed from before. And I'm going to have to look and see if they'll actually go in here, because I don't think they will. But I thought this looked like a cool little house for them. And I put some bedding in there, but like I said, I don't know if they'll actually go in here. And I put a little bit of a light, red light in here. I kind of buried it into the ceiling, hoping that maybe that would work out. But like I said, I'm not sure. This is probably too small. Let's see if we can go to H, and I'll bring up the GUI again. Just hit G to show and hide that if you guys don't know. Let's see. We need to find one of these guys. They're probably down here. They usually are. Yep. So let's see. What do you say you can do over here? So they can climb here, but I don't know if they can get under here. I don't think they can. That stinks, because that looked pretty cute if they could get in there. But oh well. And let's check their... Yeah, their needs seem to be pretty good. So I think we did a good job on this habitat. I'm going to try to get some little cinematics to go at the end. I want to definitely see this at night. I only saw it once, and that was before I had everything put in here. So yeah, I think it's pretty nice. Let me know what you guys think about these little shade structures here. They do have some crossfighting going on. I totally forgot to fix that while I was making them. But if you could see, I'm not sure if I added it in the speed build or not, but I tried the little mud pillar little trick to get these to go, you know, circular, and it didn't work out too well, so I just went ahead and did it, you know, just control X and did that multiple times, and then just deleted the middle part because I didn't need the middle part that I was using at the time. But and I hope I took out this message as much as I could. I tried to remember that, but it's kind of difficult sometimes. So yeah, and I did realize that I made this and I didn't center it because there's still a square over here. I was gonna add something like a um, sign, one of these statues, but they don't really have that much stuff for the Binturong, so as far as statues go. So I may make that bigger, but I had dealt with it quite a bit, and so that's what we get for that one. But oh, I thought I clicked on the message. But yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you have, definitely hit that thumbs up. Also, if you're new to my channel or haven't already, go and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell to get notified of videos as they come out. And if you have any questions, comments, tips, anything like that, leave those down below in the comment section. I love seeing those, and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. And until next time, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a super blessed night or day wherever you are. And yeah, until next time, I will see you then. Bye, guys.